this is gonna just be all unchained. Whether people are gonna judge this or not, I look at school like a child prison. It's run by the government, and they just sit there and they're programming our kids, and they're programming us before we even get the opportunity to live our own lives and experience our own things. We're already just being stuffed with all these things, and it sits into our subconscious brain. So in order to deprogram ourselves and reprogram ourselves for what reality really is, it's so difficult, because that's when our brains are growing we're like sponges.
We're being conditioned.
We're totally conditioned.
Conditioned to be like employees of a corporate environment.
That was the whole purpose of the school system and why they made it.
They want us to go to college. They want us to, it's all, how much money do they get?
And get into more debt.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Realist People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Tyra Nicole.
And I'm your boy, Robert Courtney, and I'm subbing in for Nicole. And today we have Alexis Carrera,
Hi, guys.
real estate agent, real estate advisor for Southeastern Michigan. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
So we've been trying to get you here for probably 2 months now.
I know.
And we've had some complications, but today is the day.
Today is the day. And, everything happens for a reason. And I'm excited to share the reason why I think today is the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to know that. Something special about today.
Let's not wait. Let's go ahead
not
and dive
necessarily
in.
about today, I don't think. What is today? The 15th? No, there's no significant. I'm a big numerology person.
Tyra and you are getting along very well.
Oh, yeah? Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Now, we actually talked about some numerology, I think.
Tell.
You and I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm big in numerology, big in numbers.
Okay, so do you know what your life path number is?
Oh, she knew.
Creative.
Before you even asked. A 3? Was it 3?
Creative.
And we got mouthpieces on us. So like Chris Rock's a 3, I think. Like usually we're comedians, we're on TV, we talk a lot, podcast hosts, things like that. We like to talk.
I can't see you as a podcast host. I feel like you have like a podcast voice.
Yeah.
Like presence.
Threes have a wild imagination as well.
We do. Yeah. Yeah, and we're childlike. I enjoy seeing the world from different perspectives. I like to get silly and play and, mess around. It's just, life is short.
Yeah.
So if you had to describe yourself to someone who's never met you before, like what would be the first things that come to your mind for them to create an identity for you, like in that moment?
Ooh, my identity. That's a tough call, because I feel like it's kind of a day-to-day. I'm also a Sagittarius, so I'm very adventurous. I don't like routine, which is probably why I'm a business owner instead of an employee with, somewhere else. I'm introvertedly extroverted. I love being out with people and, nightlife and parties and events and traveling and things like that. But when I'm home, don't knock on my door. Don't bother me. I'm home and that's like my Zen space. Recently got into yoga, and I like philosophy. I'm very mental. I love to laugh. I've always been, my sister I used to drive my older sister nuts when I was a kid, because she was always, Mom, she's laughing. She's always laughing. I'm always laughing and smiling, and I try to be bubbly, and that's kind of my thing.
Okay.
That's kind of who I am.
So you said that you're a college dropout.
I am, proudly.
Where did you go to college and drop out of?
So I had this whole plan to study psychology, and I didn't know what college I wanted to go to, so I just started at community college in Oakland County. And my parents are split, so she was alone at the time, and I was living with her, and it was this weird thing, we say never live for somebody else, but I felt so bad leaving her alone, because my mom, as strong as she is, I knew that it would have hurt her so much, and my sister was living in a different state, so it was really just me. So I stayed local, and I hated it.
Did you just hate school in general, or did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh, yeah. I was always the one in trouble. I mean, I remember 5th grade getting letters sent to my mom numerous times. I was a troublemaker in school. I was always chatting, hanging out with the guys. Hey, I didn't have like a group. I was friends with everybody. And I enjoyed the diversity of it. And, oh, jeez. It's just so many. I feel like there, and I could be wrong, but the way that I was mentally breaking it down in my mind at that age, I thought that no matter what I did, I was always getting called to the office as like a potential, you know,
culprit.
Yes. So this happened. Where were you? Were you in class? I was always leaving school, going to Taco Bell, and then sneaking back in, like leaving a little wedge, pulling the rug up, and leaving the door jar open. I mean, I was just.
Were you using that wild imagination? Was that why?
I just felt like I was trapped, and I actually today look at school. This is gonna just be all unchained. Whether people are gonna judge this or not, I look at school like a child prison. Like it's run by the government, and they just sit there and they're programming our kids and they're programming us before we even get the opportunity to live our own lives and experience our own things. We're already just being stuffed with all these things, and it sits into our subconscious brain. So in order to deprogram ourselves and reprogram ourselves for what reality really is, it's so difficult because that's when our brains are growing. We're like sponges.
Yeah, we're being conditioned.
We're totally conditioned.
Yeah.
Conditioned to be like employees of a corporate environment.
That's the whole purpose of the school system and why they made it.
They want us to go to college. They want us to. I mean, it's all, how much money do they get?
And get into more debt.
And they want us to not be. They want us to have student loan debt, and they want us to have. I mean, it's just that's a whole rabbit hole of conversation, but I just never liked school. I felt trapped all the time. And I was like, I'm never going to use this stuff. When was the last time you used algebra?
I can't tell you.
When was the last time you needed to know the history books of like Christopher Columbus? And I mean, we just don't use it.
Right.
So were you thinking like that back then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like this is just garbage.
So do you think that's why you just was like a troublemaker because you just got bored or something being there?
Maybe, but I think I like
having a short attention span.
Big time. I suffer from ADHD, it's ADHD, and it's they put it in a bubble now. It's an umbrella. It used to be ADD and ADHD were two separate situations, but so I suffer from ADD severely. So maybe that's what it was. Like I just felt like I needed to always be.
Did they try to medicate you for your ADD?
Yeah, I was on Vyvanse for years.
How did that make you feel when you took it?
Better.
Yeah,
actually, yeah. I could focus.
Yeah,
I could concentrate. I could focus. I wasn't the hyperactive type. I was the one that I would just sit and doze off and stare off into space and nothing. Nothing would. I mean, I'm doodling and I'm in my own little world.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing and a curse, I think.
Yeah.
That's what. So like the mommy drug.
The what?
The mommy drug. It's called I start with an A.
Mommy?
Adderall.
Why is that a mommy drug?
Heard of mommy drug?
I never heard it called that. No.
I've never heard it called that ever.
Confirm with me in the comments.
Why is it called the mommy drug?
Because a lot of moms take Adderall to stay either focused or to stay awake or to stay energetic. Like Adderall is a popular drug.
My brother was on Adderall, but he had ADD as well.
Yeah. But I was gonna say like a lot of times they prescribe Adderall for ADD because it does like the opposite.
I'm prescribed Adderall.
Okay. Yeah.
And it helps with my business because again, I remember when I first got licensed in real estate and I was not subscribed
Prescribed.
Subscribe to this podcast. That's what I meant to say. I was not prescribed. It's been a long day. I was not prescribed. And I remember looking back at contracts. Thankfully, offers weren't accepted. But there were things that I checked the boxes wrong on. And it wasn't a huge deal. But it's just because I'm reading, but I'm not retaining.
Yeah.
So I'm reading these things. I'm like, yeah, next.
Yeah, I wonder if I have ADD.
You probably do.
Yeah, like most people do.
Yeah, most
just
people
don't
do.
realize it.
Well, you're a 5. We're a 5, so just kind of want to hurry up and get things done. Type of
Just
thing.
move fast.
So ours will have more to do with just wanting to hurry up and just like get it done. And
Is
yours
it a lack
is
of
like,
patience?
it doesn't keep your attention.
I don't
Is
have
there a lack
patience.
of patience? Like, do fives lack patience?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have patience.
But I've
at all.
really worked on patience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I'm able to be patient, because it's been a focus of mine, because I knew I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really worked on it. So now I'm kind of patient.
Yeah.
And then it'll be
Kind of.
because every now and then it's just like, ugh, I can't take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the 3 is one of the only ones that I don't know much about.
Creative.
Because,
Yeah, we're
I mean,
the
that makes
Amber was
sense.
a 3, and she kind of reminds me of Amber a little bit.
yeah, do you know Amber?
No,
Amber Boone?
no, I don't.
Yeah, she's a real estate agent, EXP, big on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. She was here a few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, a
I
while
remember her
ago.
saying she was a 3.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Alexis, how did you end up in the career you're at right now? Like, how did you become a real estate agent?
You know what's really funny is I always knew that I wanted to be in the real estate world.
Yeah.
Almost always, yeah. It started when I was really young. My parents broke ground on building a huge house in Petoskey, Michigan, which is where I grew up. And I remember watching that whole thing, just the formation of the entire community, and I was just obsessed. I was like, I loved, for a while I thought maybe architectural engineering or something, because I just loved everything about a structure, but I hate math.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's probably
You
not
love
gonna be-
numerology, but you hate math.
Right.
I know. Well, I like math when it comes to numerology and making me money. I
Yeah.
don't like math, like, as
Having
a
to think
job
about
and
it.
having,
Solving.
yes, exactly. So I decided that real estate was going to be my thing, and I think I made the decision. I think I was in high school, and when I eventually started and enrolled in college, I did it because I felt like, again, being programmed, it was the next step of adulthood in life.
Right.
So that didn't last very long, because something in me said, what am I doing here?
How long did it take for you to
Less
get
than a
to
year.
it? Okay.
I mean, I was in it and I'm like, I'm out.
But you haven't been in real estate for a long time, though.
Nope.
How long have you?
This is this 3 years total.
Wow.
3 complete years, yeah. So 3.5. Well, not even 3.5 yet.
Okay, so on the outside looking in, it appears that your trajectory was really fast.
It was.
Like, is there a reason? Like, did anything contribute to that?
Of course.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Grit.
Hard work.
And hard work. Yeah. And not giving a damn. And I like the term ignorance on fire. I didn't know. All I knew is that I needed to close deals. I was in a really rough spot financially. My husband at the time and I, we'll get into that too. And I just knew that I just needed to go. There was no emergency brake. It was only a gas pedal. And if you're in the real estate world and you're a realtor, you know it's a very common sense industry. What we do all day is not what people think. We're not HGTV, like, oh, we don't. I mean, there are the realtors out there that primarily just open doors and put signs in the ground. I like to look at myself as a real estate advisor. But what I do on a regular basis when somebody asks me, I tell them I network, I negotiate, and I market. That's what I do for a living. I don't put lock boxes on doors or put signs in the ground. That's not my thing. I market myself. I market listings. I market the industry. I market eXp Realty. And I negotiate and I network with people. We shake hands. That's what we do.
Can you talk about the financial struggle that you guys were going through when you decided to get into real estate? And what did you do prior to real estate?
Oh, gosh. What did I do? So I was working retail. I was a manager at a couple of shoe stores. Oh, gosh. That's taking me back. So, oh, geez. I was always so... God, I don't even know if I want to call it work. I just got paid to, like, talk to people and throw shoes, boxes of shoes around in the back room and manage people, and call people if they were late. That's basically what I did. It was just so easy for me, and I had fun with it. So I was a manager of, can I say names? Okay. Journeys. I loved working at Journeys. It was so much fun. And Aldo for a while, and Baker's Shoes before Baker's went out of business.
Okay. I remember Baker.
I was managing Baker's Fairlane for a while, and then I was working at 12 Oaks. for a while. It was fun.
So a lot of retail.
A lot of retail stuff,
Yeah.
yeah. And then my husband were we engaged? No, we were just dating. So my boyfriend at the time, he was thinking about what he wanted to do with his life as well. And I'm the one who kind of triggered the idea of him to get involved in his own business because landscaping was everything he knew. And I was like, why don't you just do it for yourself? You'd be really good at it. And that's what he still does today. So for a long time, I was helping him do that. And for a lot of the time in between that period and when I actually did get licensed, I was depressed because I didn't know, although I knew that I wanted to get involved in real estate, something was stopping me from pulling the trigger on it. And looking back now, I know what it was. But at the time, I felt like I was procrastinating like I always did and pushing things off and not getting involved in something that could really change my life. I slept a lot. Spent time with my dogs at home. We didn't own a house. We rented.
So you were sleeping because of depression?
I think so.
So looking
but I also
back,
just like to sleep.
So looking back on that, what was it then? So since you say you know now.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready because if I would have pulled the trigger then, I wouldn't have chosen the brokerage that I chose. I wouldn't have been mature enough to understand, once again, that I don't want to be a sheep in any industry. I would have just gone with the flow and probably joined a team and worked at, one of the blue companies or the red and white companies or some of these other places that I felt like put a stamp on the back of my neck and threw me down in the assembly line, and I didn't want that. I'm not the cold caller. I'm not the pick up the phone and start dialing Wolf of Wall Street agent. I'm not it's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm the entrepreneur. That's the lifestyle that I was raised in, and it wasn't serving me at the time.
So do you feel like subconsciously you were not doing it because it was like something that you didn't realize that was kind of...
No, I don't. I really don't. I think, call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want. I think something was just putting the brakes on for me so that I could become who I've become and, continue to become who I'm becoming.
Yeah.
I think timing is super important. And I think it's something that we never realize, like, in the moment, that if you get involved right now, it's not going to play out how it's supposed to play out. Because like you said, you're not ready. You don't have the information. You don't have the structure. You don't have the framework. You don't have the support. Like, it could be a number of reasons. But like I said earlier, like, it feels like you accelerated really quick. And it's probably because, like, you got into it when you were supposed to get into it.
Could be. Or I could have just been... It was a weird feeling when I hit a certain age. I think I want to say I was 23. It's like something clicked. And this fierceful drive and hunger and force consumed me.
That's young to have that.
I had it at 27.
I'm still figuring. I'm
so
just kidding.
I know that. I actually know that
29.
feeling that you're saying. Because I feel like I got that like at 27. It was like one day something just like...
Yeah, it's like I just woke up and I was like, everything is just bright. Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I feel like happened. So you feel like you don't have that yet?
No, I do. I had to move out of my parents' house and I just like moved out of my parents' house to I don't know, I have to force myself. Do you know what I mean? Because I can rely on my family and they get comfortable. And so, anyways.
So it's probably coming.
Yeah.
Like after not
Yeah.
being under their wing for
I feel
a
like
while.
you're 29, is it?
I think we should hear a little bit about your last name.
Well, I wanted to ask you, okay, so you went into business with your ex-husband.
I did.
How was that working with a significant other?
A pain in the ass. He didn't want to listen to anything. I mean, I was trying to help him with his structure and marketing and branding and, this is what we need to be doing and this is what I think would give you the best exposure and this is how we should market. And he just wanted to run it the way that he always knew, which was like, whatever t-shirt your employees have on when they wake up, that's what they wear to the yard. I mean, it was a very different mentality. I grew up, I I grew up very different than a lot of people have the opportunity to. And
Why would you say that before you go on?
so I don't like to talk about this a lot because I shouldn't care, but unfortunately the way society is, people judge all the time. But I grew up in a 20,000 square foot house.
Ooh,
And
that's big.
and that's what I watched take shape. That's why I love real estate. I mean, TNT blowing out the harbor, and it was up in Petoskey, Lake Michigan, and it was just amazing. An amazing experience. But, and I want this on the record, the grass is not always greener, if that makes sense. There was a lot of, I was so blessed. I mean, I had the most awesome childhood. The memories, and my dad and my mom and my sister we never got along. I mean, I love her. We do now, but, you know, sibling stuff. But it was definitely a different lifestyle. I mean, I remember watching MTV Cribs at one point and seeing Beyonce's house when they, Destiny's Child, when they were still, in, like, she's showing her house and touring the house, and I'm like, that's a regular suburban, like, West Bloomfield house. And I just remember looking around and thinking, holy crap. That was it for me. I was like, holy crap.
Now I want to know, like, what your parents did.
So my mom was a mom. She was very lucky to be able to do that. And I was very lucky to have somebody there all the time. I absolutely love my mom. She's an amazing mom. She's strong and physically and mentally, and she's so tough, and she's an incredible human being. And my dad graduated from Michigan Tech for electrical and mechanical engineering, and worked for Ford Motor Company for a little while. And then him and my grandfather decided to start a compression molding plastic company. And this was, geez, I want to say like early 80s. And it just exploded. He ended up selling it. I think the governor of Florida or something at the time bought it from him. And then a Japanese company bought it since then. But it's still surviving. It's still the #1 plastic compression molding company for the automotive industry today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's huge. And so that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I just watched him screaming, face red all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, business is my second language. That's what I tell people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, you grew up around it. Like, you grew up around
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, so you already knew,
At, the
like,
highest, at a
firsthand.
high level.
Yeah.
Right.
At a high level.
And, you know, my parents are comfortable now. If they would have kept going, I mean, I think back, like, how awesome would it be to be able to have that passed down? But my dad was going through a situation where he just felt like it was getting too big for him to maintain. So he had a buyout opportunity. He freaking took it. And he's been good ever since.
Yeah.
But then, you know, he went into a whole other, that's when my life kind of started to rattle a little bit at the age of 13 or 14, maybe 12 even. He started drinking heavily. He would go missing for a couple of days. Nobody knew where he was. I mean, it was just this very weird period of my life. And it impacted me for sure. And it built me. And I think that's where my strength comes in of, I feel like I've mastered the art of detachment. I've mastered the art of letting go of things. I've mastered the art of understanding that it's not about me in certain situations. And I've mastered the art of understanding that we can't allow ourselves to get upset about something we have no control over. Which was difficult so I had to grow up super quick.
Yeah.
I grew up fast, but I'm glad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
And that's kind of why I said about how subconsciously that was like in your subconscious, because that's like everything you've recorded your entire life. So I feel like it was something subconsciously and seeing everything that you saw grow up that may have like held you back. Like, this is not the right time.
Maybe.
Because of all of these things.
It could have
you
been.
know, so.
Yeah. Or it's just a destiny thing.
But that too. But it all goes on with it. It all goes on.
So we were talking about you in business with your husband, though, and how that was difficult, like, working with him because you had a different kind of way of doing business than he did.
Yes. And again, this goes back to we're a product of our environment. So my husband's family, they're immigrants. And they were, blue collar, struggled to pay for diapers when he was a baby, and totally polar lifestyles. By the way, just side note, my family is not generational wealth. My grandfather grew up with an outhouse in Trout Lake, Michigan, in the UP. We are not generational wealth like some people out there. I'm second generation of, so it was quite the change. But his lifestyle was very different. His family came here to give themselves and their future generation a better opportunity. Coming from Mexico and coming from everything that they had to deal with over there. And that's not easy either, but it's also very humbling. So I almost feel as if the communication lack of was the fact that it was built with a different structure. I'm building this type of structure out of this material, and he's building a structure out of this material. And it's just not coming together. Yeah. And it just always felt like there was just pushback between both of us. But at the end of the day, we loved each other, and we were able to put that aside.
Yeah.
No matter what, I always knew that it was going to get ironed out or figured out eventually.
How did you guys meet?
We were friends in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
They went to high school together.
Yeah. We weren't high school sweethearts or anything. People always ask that. He was just a really good friend. He never missed a birthday, and he was always there, and he just was a good guy. Yeah.
So you guys have known each other for a really long time.
Yes.
Okay. And so then getting a divorce recently?
Yes.
That must have been tough detaching yourself from him since you had him in your life for so long.
Yes and no. And I that might sound bad, but again, I don't know if you remember, but I've mastered the art of detachment and mastered the art of letting go and mastered the art of life is happening for me, not to me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in life, we have to make those very difficult decisions, and it's day one or one day. Do we drag this out and keep each other miserable? I felt like I was dragging him along. He felt like he was holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was that constant push and pull.
Yeah.
And it was actually primarily his idea. And I just said, okay. Mm-hmm. And there it went. And it was there was a little bit of animosity, and sometimes I feel like there still is, but I will always love him. He's the best guy. He has the biggest heart. And I wish nothing but the best for him. But we just grew in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All.
Did it feel like it was coming, or was it like, were you kind of taken back by?
Oh no, I knew. I think we both. I think we both knew.
Yeah.
I think we both knew that it was. I think we both knew it was coming. I almost want to say, if I think back, I think I knew it was coming even before I should have. But again, maybe it was just one of those things where we just both felt like, I guess this is the next step. You know what I mean? Which is so bad. It's so terrible.
It's really
I think that I think that's a part of what we talked about in terms of programming, conditioning. It's like there's almost this notion that you're supposed to get engaged. You're supposed to find love. You're supposed to get married. Like,
you're supposed to stay if you're not happy.
Exactly.
Oh,
and if you don't, you're not living up to certain expectations that society has set.
Right.
So I do feel like that pressure can be sometimes underlining and like subconscious, but then sometimes like in your face. And I don't think it's unusual to make decisions knowing that this is probably not going to end the way that we're acting like it's going to end. Like, it's probably going to end bad.
I agree. My recent experience with being divorced, I cannot tell you guys how many people, when they find out, they go, oh,
yeah,
oh, and they do the head tilt. Like, that makes me so sad. And I'm like, why?
Don't be. I'm
Yeah. I'm like, why? Don't be.
Yeah.
And I actually feel as if the people that go, oh,
They're sad.
They're
Yes.
the ones that are in
Yes.
marriages that they're not
1,000%.
happy.
because it's like, yeah.
They're programmed too, just to say.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's more of an, I'm so sad that, your life is changing. And we're programmed to think that divorce means we messed up.
Yeah.
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 Or if we don't have kids, something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to women, we kind of have an out more so than men, which again is not really fair in my eyes either, because we both have an opportunity of any, an inability to have kids. But when a woman doesn't have kids, it's either you can't or you don't want to. And if you don't want to, you're selfish.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I don't like that
I don't
either.
like that either.
Yeah.
It's just not right. I mean, in my eyes, I feel like having children and wanting to procreate is the more selfish thing than not.
I never felt like I was selfish because no one's ever made me feel selfish for not wanting kids or not having kids, but I could see, like, people do ask, like, are you, like, once you get married, are you thinking about having kids?
Well, just the
pressure.
idea that there's pressure and then that something must be wrong
Yeah.
that we don't have them,
Yeah.
I think is very common. Like, I think even if you're talking to a guy and they're talking about a woman and they're a certain age, they look a certain way, or like everything that would make you believe that this person would have a child or even be in a relationship for that matter, it's all wrong because it's like, why are we programmed this way to believe that something's wrong with this person because they don't have it, which is, it's not anyone's fault specifically. I just think it's like we've just said, it's we're products of the environment that we've been connected to for so long.
So, but you decided to keep the last name.
I did.
What was your maiden last name?
Considine.
Ooh.
How do you say it?
Considine.
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 What kind?
I've never
what is
heard that.
So when I looked it up and I was like doing my, my digging when I was getting married and trying to figure out, I'm Irish, and supposedly that's the primary. That's where the name comes from. And they're supposedly in like Dublin, Ireland, or something. There's Considine Bar or Considine. What do they call them?
Pubs?
Pub, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But I'm Norwegian, Polish, of course. What white person isn't? And Irish, and I mean, just like the rest of us, I'm just a mutt.
Okay. And what made you keep the last name?
Of Carrera,
Yeah.
just because it sounds so.
You like has a ring to it.
Does he have a problem with that? Or?
Oh, he was so mad.
Really?
He was so mad, you guys. He tried to fight.
Mm.
He was, when we were in court and stuff, he was like, and I want my last name back. And
See, I don't understand that part. Like,
Back? What do you mean?
yeah, like
Like you can't keep using.
You can't
this
be an
name.
Indian giver. No,
I don't understand people who have a problem with.
Well, okay, so
You're a guy, so
yeah, so
yeah, let's hear it from.
So
'cause I
if
don't
he's seeing someone else, I can only imagine that there's pressure coming from the significant other now who's saying like,
Or in the future.
or in the future, like, how is your ex-wife still using your name? You know, especially like people who might have known him for a long time, maybe don't realize that he's not married anymore.
Oh, we haven't even fully taken it off of Facebook yet. I'm waiting for him to do that because I think that's gonna be his final like nail in the
How long
coffin.
has
Yeah,
it been?
see, Facebook
Since the
is like
divorce.
But I hid mine.
Yeah.
I just feel bad. Like I feel I'm not seeing any. I'm like, don't,
Yeah.
don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Well, you realize it's about to be out there now.
oh yeah, no. I mean, primarily, I think, at least in my eyes, everybody knows,
People know.
but maybe not because of the last name situation. I don't know.
I don't. But it's like with the last name type of thing. Like even if, because I'm divorced as well, and I still have the same last name, and it was more so because I was married for almost 15 years, and it's just like,
Do you have kids?
And your kids too.
and I have kids. They
I
have the
think
same
that's a
last name. And it's
thing.
like.
Yeah.
I have to go and change all of this stuff. I've been using the same name. And it's like, I don't care. Like, if I get remarried at some point, then I'll change it. But I'm not about to go from this name to that name to
Right.
another name,
Yeah.
maybe in this. And it's just like,
I low-key love my name, and if I ever get married, I probably will hyphenate my name because I love my last name so much.
Gosh, I almost hyphenated mine, but then it would have been Alexis Considine. Alexis Christine
Yeah, that would have been a
Considine
lot.
Carrera. Is
Oh,
like a-
ACCCCCCC.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that
Which is the
wealth,
third letter in the
a
alphabet.
lot of wealth comes with that other name. I really, when I leave, I want to go look it up. I want to look it up right now.
Look it up. So if you type in
See
Carrera,
the meaning of it.
if you type in Carrera, in Spanish it means race.
I mean, your other last name.
Oh, Considine?
Yeah.
I don't
wanna
know
look
what will
up the
come.
meaning of that last name.
Yeah, do it. I don't know what would come up.
I think wealth follows.
Okay, final
I
question.
don't know what to say. Let's definitely
After
go on and find
I mean,
out
it's on a
questions.
hospital in Petoskey. And
Yeah.
bright blue neon lights. I don't know.
If it's
that.
on the hospital, it
I think
definitely have some.
Right.
Wealth follows.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe I should
100%.
switch it back.
Yeah.
Maybe it's bad juju.
It's a lot in a name. Now, I'm just going to
Yeah.
say that. It's a lot in a name.
It is, yeah. No, it can make or break anything. But I just feel like Alexis Considine, like it was always, how do you spell that? Is it
Yeah.
Constantine, Constantini?
Yeah.
It was just the biggest struggle. And Carrera has its
Carrera.
things too.
Yeah.
Because they're like
1 R, 2 R's.
1 hour, 2 hours. Did you say Cabrera? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, especially being in Detroit. So that's kind of an issue. We've even, after we got married, Miguel Cabrera was landscaping his house. I guess he built a house somewhere in Southeast Michigan like 5 years ago. And our accounts got mixed up at a landscape yard because of Cabrera and Carrera. So it is similar, and there is its struggle, but I just think Alexis Carrera sounds better it's just easier for people to say. It's shorter. And it's my identity now. I mean, I've built a business with it for the last 3.5 years. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to just
It's your
wipe
brand.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah. It's tough.
I get it.
Speaking of business in real estate, can you tell us your most wild real estate story?
Oh no, I don't know if I can.
You can't.
I don't know if I legally can.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
I don't
Is it a
know.
lawsuit?
To do with like a
involved?
client?
There was a potential lawsuit. I did nothing. I did, just for the record. There's
Yeah.
nothing that I did, but it was one of my clients that we were going in on the buy side, and we had a situation with a seller and a selling agent, and it was a very shady and suspicious situation that was boiling down, and it just was a lot of different contracts and a lot of offer accepted, not accepted. Oh, we got a last minute this, and then a week later they came back. It was just this whole crazy mess of a situation. And then another situation, I don't know if I can talk about this either, but I can briefly. This was maybe 2 years ago, and I'm still kind of traumatized by this. One of my clients decided that she didn't want to purchase a home because she spent all of her down payment money last minute, and she didn't show up to the closing table. So at that point, when you deposit an earnest money deposit, that's now, deserved to the sellers.
Right.
So she tried to argue it back, and she told the board that I had it, and she was making up false accusations and rumors about some very, I hate to say this, false racial comments. And it hurt the heck out of me because we got along so well. And I'm like, do you not know who my husband is?
Yeah.
Like at the time, I'm like, I am the least person to profile anybody. I love everybody. Like I've always been that way. So that killed me inside. And she claimed the same thing to the selling agent, who was not white either. So it was a really wild situation, and it sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked. And yeah, that was bad.
What was her excuse though for not showing up? Or
She didn't have the money, right? She spent it. You said last
because
minute.
you guys
That's a
knew
loan
she
officer.
spent it, but
No, I
what was
didn't.
her excuse? Like,
I don't
or she
remember.
had to have some other excuse if she even tried to fight it.
I think she just said she didn't want to buy the house anymore or something. And this poor family, it was actually a beautiful home in Detroit in Palmer Woods. In that community, it was a giant historical home. Oh my gosh, it was stunning. I was obsessed with it. It had all these corridors and back hidden staircases, and it was just so cool. And I felt so bad for the sellers because they had to move out of state for job relocation, and they couldn't do that. And I actually saw that the house just recently sold, I want to say like 5 or 6 months ago. And this situation happened for me, it was maybe almost 2 years ago. So it took that long.
Wow.
Which is terrible for that family.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So that was kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, real estate has its stuff.
People could be so, well, I've learned that people only care about themselves at the end of the day. Like
but to try to like trash 2 professional names in the industry just to get your earnest money back when you messed up.
Yeah.
You have no, you know, I mean, aside from spending, and that's what the lender had told me. I don't know how factual that is. She could have just said the sky's blue today and I changed my mind. But in any situation, that's what earnest money's for.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's there
Definitely.
for, to save the seller.
Yeah.
I feel like the loan officer should have a conversation like loan officers should always have a conversation with a client right away. Like you should not be spending when you're in the middle of, you know, looking for a home. And so I don't know if he had that conversation or she had that conversation, but it kind of is a little bit.
Yeah, and that
It's a little
probably wasn't the reason.
Yeah.
She probably just didn't want to buy it no more.
Maybe.
For
I
whatever
mean, she was a
reason.
single woman. Maybe the house was just too much for her, and she just got, you know, which rightfully so. I completely understand. But we also had seen the property multiple times before submitting an offer. I mean, like we talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, is this? I just want to make sure this isn't going to be too much for you or overwhelming to maintain. Number 1, a historical home, and 2, of this size. And she was talking about remodel, so maybe maybe it was just cold feet.
Yeah, something I've learned in real estate is people lie all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
Tyra,
bad.
do you have a question?
Oh, so my question for you is, I was battling back and forth with the 2, but I think I'll
Ask both.
What would you tell your younger self if you could? Ooh, is that wasting at the bottom?
It's like,
Is it another cup?
yeah, it's like,
Yeah, it's a
put
cup
under-
right behind you. Just have her put it in that one.
Oh, there's ice.
watch
in
the
there.
rest of yours.
Sorry, we're working on getting our cups back.
Well, watch yours
real
too
cups,
if they're.
too.
I don't
It
know
does
why
that.
mine-
I was say they typically hold together.
They typically do, but sometimes
It's like those old
yeah,
Dixie cups.
every now and then.
Bamboo got to change your cups up.
We need to get our cups back.
I know.
Yeah, or it has a hole in it. I don't know, but it's not leaking now. Sorry, what was your question?
So, was it that question not meant to be asked?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, so what would you tell your younger self if you could look back on your life as a little girl?
Just live. Keep being you, and follow your gut like you know you should. I think that's what I would tell myself. And if at any moment you have self-doubt or worry, don't. Because everything happens the way it's supposed to. And if you really want it, you'll get there.
Okay.
And that's it.
I like that. The other one was, what's something no one knows about you?
Oh, it's something no one
It's like
knows
no
about.
one can never answer that question really anymore.
That's that's kind of a hard one.
We got to put that
Is there
one
like
in
a
the email.
hobby or like a habit or something?
Are you like an open book or do...
I feel like I am. Maybe I'm not. I guess it's all perception, right? What's something no one knows about me? I mean, I was a figure skater for years and years and years.
I think she told us something no
But
one
I
probably
think-
know, like your childhood and you being in a really wealthy situation.
Well,
I mean,
maybe not a lot
I'll
of people
definitely
know the trauma that I went through as a child.
We
With
need to talk about that.
with my dad and the separation and like the real reason as to why I can disconnect, psychologically, which
Like an
actually,
escape.
which is what led me into the intrigue of psychology in general.
Was it like that for you in school though? Were you like that at that age where you felt like you needed to escape from, or was it not at that point
I
yet?
just knew it wasn't going to be relevant
Okay.
at that age. I'm like, this
So it
is
just
all.
wasn't interest.
I'm like, I like all you guys. This is fun. But as soon as I graduated, I was like, see you later. Like, I'm out. And I barely graduated. You guys, I was like, I just made it by. My whole senior year, I showed up with a box of cereal under my arm, Captain Crunch to be exact, sweatpants. And I'm just chilling. I'm just here for attendance. I just skated through.
Skated through.
Oh, yeah. I just knew. It just was, I don't know. I think it just, was it subconscious? Was it me setting the stage for what I subconsciously knew that I wanted to do? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, I have one last question before we wrap up. I know you have went and experienced Tony Robbins,
I have.
and that's not something that a lot of people get to do. So if you could pull from your experience with that, what's one message that Tony shares that maybe resonated with you that you think could potentially help like guests or people watching this show?
I think one of the biggest things that I take away from Tony and a regular is life is happening for you, not to you. I think, again, all of us are just so programmed, and we get so wrapped up in the moment of things and so stressed out, which I recently, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, maybe next time, but I recently went through financial struggle and depressive moments. And because, after the divorce, my whole life blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, my end goal is not to be known as a real estate agent or a real estate advisor. It's to help people. And my love of psychology at a younger age is now rolling into my adult life and my professional life and my destiny. And I feel as if now, also being a life path 3 where we have mouthpieces on us, we love to talk. I feel like my destiny now is shifting into telling my story and helping people through their moments of doubt. Mm-hmm. Without going through what I just went through, I wouldn't be able to relate. Mm-hmm. Because I was so lucky. Call it luck, whatever. Life just, it was like a smooth river. It just worked. Yeah. And I didn't really have a lot of struggle.
Right.
Or maybe it's because I'm very optimistic. But whatever it is, Tony, if you have an opportunity or if it's something that you feel like you resonate with, I highly suggest you experience it, because it definitely has the opportunity to help you break the mold of bad habits or generational curses, to unleash yourself to be the person that you are destined and desire to be. It's huge. He's amazing.
Where'd you see him at?
I've seen him a couple times. The first time I saw him was in Palm Beach. I want to say November 2021 or 2022.
Okay.
So
nice.
Walking on fire, rocks, and everything.
Fire, yeah. I've done that twice now. Yeah, no, it's real. That is real, by the way, you guys. I mean, I was like, oh, we're gonna walk on fire. It's gonna be little, no. It is flames, and you feel the heat. And there were people walking on the outsides of their feet, walking out of there because they were just all burned. Mm. I mean, it is real.
When you actually walk.
Wait, who does that? Who walks?
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
He actually does.
No, he makes the people that attend.
So he doesn't make you. Well, he suggests. One of the.
You're not gonna go spend all that money for that experience
just to burn your feet up.
Burn your feet.
Yeah, like how
to
do you
walk out with nubs? Yes, twice. Yeah.
Wait, why? What's the purpose?
It's to just show you that it is. It's about the power of the mind.
Oh my goodness!
It's all about. I mean, we actually teach ourselves that our perception of what we see and what we feel is not always a reality. Yeah. The mind and the body, you guys, is so incredible. And this is. I'm a big person of philosophy and neurology and stoicism and things like that. I love all aspects of beliefs and systems. And I've noticed and realized that the power of the mind is so incredible. We actually have the power to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
With certain frequencies if we allow to.
Oh, look, you're literally talking Tyra's language. We've talked about this on the podcast multiple times.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I have to come back and talk about it. I mean,
it's true though. Like,
it's so
sounds
true.
Heal.
Oh gosh, I fall asleep to sound frequencies every single night.
What's the frequency, Tyra? That
Which
heals.
One?
That heals.
It's a lot of them.
You said if
432 hertz.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, 432 hertz is the happy frequency.
Yeah, for 8 hours on repeat.
Yeah.
Look, I'm about to start going to sleep to what is it for?
Well, 432 is like for positive. No, it's like
442.
No, 442 is bad. That's all on the radio. It lowers your vibration.
Yeah,
but I'll turn on the radio and I'll be like, no, that's 440, and I change it.
I'm like that too.
It lowers your vibration.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, that's so crazy.
Yeah, what are mumble rappers rap to what?
It's 440. It's definitely 440.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They did
Mumble
that on
rap is a
purpose.
very specific frequency. I don't know what it
It's
is.
440.
But I know
What
for a
about
fact
Sexy
it's like,
Red?
it's like
It's 440.
they just smoked
It's
weed.
definitely
They're gonna love
440.
this 440.
Yeah, and they put that out on purpose, like just to lower the
Oh yeah.
frequency of the
Oh
community.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, we do.
Yeah, we gotta talk.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I can talk
Oh,
to you all
this is
day.
after hours. But no, this has been awesome. I
Yeah.
feel like you have so much to
So much
share.
more.
I have so many.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
really get into my today. You know.
Oh, you have to tell us that before you leave. You said it was
What?
a purpose for you.
Oh
coming
no,
today
just
or
because
something.
of what I went through. I mean, my story is so much, and that's what I'm leading into and going into in the future is not just real estate advisement, but I want to grow an organization and help agents and help people and help clients and on just on a deeper level. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I feel like real
Your
estate is just the
contribution.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, I mean, without going through depression, hardships, financial struggle, I mean, lying awake at night, crying myself to sleep. I mean, this was, you guys, divorce it didn't impact me in the way that people would normally think that it did. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so sorry. It wasn't that. It was, I have an opportunity now to totally recreate and reinvent myself.
Mm-hmm.
The world is my oyster. And it was so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. I felt like I didn't have an identity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
who am I? I mean,
I
I
get
could be
that.
anybody. I could change my name. I could,
Yeah.
I mean, like, Joe Schmo? What do I want to do?
Yeah.
It's like
It
a
was
freeing feeling.
Yes.
So I totally get
but
that.
it's scary too, and it's stressful
Yeah.
because I'm, my own worst enemy. We all are, but I want to make sure that what I do in life is serving
Purposeful.
myself. Yes, exactly. And I don't want to not that I feel like I made a mistake, but I want to make sure that what I do going forward is the right move. So I'm very strategic now.
And it's something that Tony, since we were speaking of Tony Robbins, it's something that he said where he said, find a way not to service yourself, but to be of service to others.
Correct.
And that it makes so much sense because that's what gives us like ultimate satisfaction
Yes.
is serving others. So I get that.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and
thanks for
sharing with
having me.
us. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Who do we have next week? We don't know.
I would say our
know.
scheduler is out.
And we missed you, Nicole, and
Yeah.
she'll be back next week.
Nicole
So,
will be back next week, so we miss you, Nicole and Will.
As much as we know you love having Robert Courtney here, I won't be here.
Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video, and we'll see you guys very soon next week.
All right. Bye.
That was like totally over the 5 minutes that Ty gave me. I'm like,
Oh.